Good morning and welcome to a regular meeting of a panel of utility commissioners and staff of the Public Utilities Regulatory Authority, or PURA, held today, Wednesday, May 11th at 10 a.m. by remote teleconference. My name is Chairman Marissa Gillette, and I'm joined virtually today by my colleagues, the Vice Chairman Jack Bukowski and Commissioner Michael Karen. We have a regular calendar and a consent calendar in front of us today. We will turn first to the regular calendar. Docket number 190152, RE01, PURA's investigation of developments in the third-party pole attachment process, make ready reopener. And we will turn to Mr. Steve Capozzi with Authority staff to present the decision for the panel's consideration, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Good morning, Commissioners. So as the Chairman mentioned, I'm bringing before you a proposed decision in docket number 190152 RE01. The authority initiated this proceeding to consider new policies and procedures to address the substantial delays in the third-party pole attachment process. In this proposed decision, the authority makes a number of determinations focused on improving the pole attachment application and make-ready process. The modifications focus on promoting and facilitating the efficient deployment and development of advanced telecommunications and broadband infrastructure, as well as encouraging the shared use of existing utility poles. This proposed decision first adopts a one-touch make-ready option for attachers as an alternative to the traditional attachment process. So the one-touch make-ready process provides an option to attachers, which allows them to identify opportunities to take control of the attachment process, both in the initial planning and engineering design phase, and in the placing of new attachments on utility poles. So under the traditional process, each company that is currently attached to a utility pole must move its own facilities in sequence to accommodate the new attachment. And they must visit the pole each individually to do their own work. That process takes time and can be disruptive to local communities as one company after another comes in with trucks and equipment to do construction on a line of utility poles. Under the one-touch make-ready option, the telecommunications companies or municipalities can do this all in one visit. So utilizing this option minimizes both the time to complete the attachment process and minimizes disruptions to local communities. The one-touch make-ready option process outlined in this decision largely mirrors the one recently adopted by the FCC and some other nearby states, including Maine, Vermont, Pennsylvania, and others. And one more note, we heard concerns from participants about safety and reliability for the one-touch make-ready process. So what we did in this proposed decision is outlined or implemented a number of safeguards to protect both the safety of workers, the safety of the public, and also protect the equipment of the companies currently attached to the utility poles. Next, this decision makes a number of modifications to the traditional attachment process. And these are intended to facilitate the deployment of broadband throughout the state. So first, the proposed decision provides more control and flexibility to third-party attachers. We heard from attachers that the traditional survey and design work for getting approval to install new attachments often takes too long. Now, a new attacher could take control of this process and elect to have the work done with a third-party contractor according to their own timelines. This is called the pre-engineered application portion. We also heard and recognized that make-ready construction delays are causing backlogs in the attachment process. If make-ready construction work is not meeting deadlines, this decision would give attachers an option to do the make-ready work of the other currently attached attachers who are causing the delays so they can get their own equipment on the pole. This is called the self-help option. This decision also provides consistency to telecommunications companies who operate within other jurisdictions. A lot of the policies recommended in this decision or implemented in this decision, including the pre-engineered option, the self-help option, and one-touch make-ready option, are largely similar to those adopted by the FCC and other nearby states, as mentioned. This decision also adopts some new pole attachment process deadlines. So these include timelines to complete the application review, the pole owner application review. It includes timelines to conduct surveys, perform construction work, and perform inspections. These timelines have been adopted, are similar to FCC. So again, these timelines provide uniformity to communications companies that operate in multiple jurisdictions. These timelines also encourage coordination between the pole owners and the new attachers and the existing attachers to make sure these applications are done and construction is completed according to reasonable expectations. And in doing that, this decision, these timelines would enable the authority to hold pole owners accountable for completing the work that is expected of them on time. And so that there should no longer be an excuse for delays that are outside of their control. This decision also allows telecommunications attachers an option of attaching on the lowest point of a pole. This changes a longstanding policy that is on the whole inhibiting the efficient deployment of broadband infrastructure. So this decision also retains the current policy of permitting field side attachments, sometimes called boxing, so long as there is no National Electric Safety Code violation. This is a change from the proposed final decision that was issued about a month ago, and it's based largely on feedback we received from docket participants in their written exceptions and oral arguments. All the changes that I described above were made and recommended in this decision, and they're doing so, they'll maintain safe and reliable service, both for existing entities, pole owners, and new attachers. This decision also, we looked at cost allocation. So this decision made changes to how costs that are incurred for attaching new facilities to poles are allocated. One of the things this decision does is it increases the application fees to better reflect the actual costs to perform engineering design. Second, this decision makes changes to rules that determine how construction costs are allocated between the new attacher and existing attachers and pole owners. These rules now allow for a more equitable and proportional sharing of costs, which will protect utility ratepayers and existing attachers who may otherwise take on an unfair burden of new attachment costs. And lastly, the authority recognizes that all these issues, all the policies and procedures recommended for you in this decision won't solve every issue, and new issues will arise and need to be addressed. So recognizing that reality, the decision sets up two processes going forward. First, this decision identifies an accelerated process to resolve pole attachment disputes within 60 days. This process is governed by strict rules and requirements that should allow for the fair resolution of many individual disputes. And second is the establishment of a standing working group to be facilitated by the authority's Office of Education, Outreach, and Enforcement. This group should work collaboratively to identify solutions to the larger policy issues and emerging policy matters that arise in this field from time to time. So with that summary, it's not an exhaustive list of everything that's in the decision, but it does provide a high-level overview of the policy changes made. And now I recommend this decision to the Commissioner panel for approval.
Thank you very much, Mr. Capozzi. Is there a motion?
I move adoption, Madam Chairman.
Second, Madam Chairman.
Thank you. The decision has been regularly moved and seconded. Are there any questions or comments?
Madam Chairman, if I may, I'd just like to commend Mr. Capozzi and our staff and all the stakeholders for all the work they have done on this docket. We discussed this issue for quite some time, but I left the oral arguments feeling that we're going in the right direction. I commend all the stakeholders, and hopefully we're going to rectify a lot of the problems that have occurred in the past, and we're moving in the right direction. So I just want to thank everybody for their hard work on this.
Madam Chairman, also, I echo the Vice Chairman's comments and appreciate your efforts on this, as well as all the stakeholders, Mr. Capozzi, for his work. This was literally years and years in the making, and we want to do our best to get it as right as possible. And I've often described this as a Gordian knot of wires and attachments that's been really hard to unravel, but I think we've gone quite a ways to doing that. And again, appreciate the comments from the oral arguments last week, and look forward to going forward with this.
Thank you both. And Mr. Capozzi, I think you did excellent work here. So thank you very much. And I will ask for the roll to be called.
Chairman Gillette,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Bukowski,
Yes.
Commissioner Karen,
Yes.
Thank you. I'm pleased to say that that docket is approved. So we will move on to the consent calendar. There are 8 items on today's consent calendar. Is there a motion?
Madam Chairman, I move adoption of today's consent calendar, items 1 through 8.
The second, Madam Chairman.
Thank you. The consent calendar has been regularly moved and seconded. I will ask for the roll to be called, please.
Chairman Gillette,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Bukowski,
Yes.
Commissioner Karen,
Yes.
Thank you. The consent calendar has been approved. That brings us to the end of today's regular meeting agenda. We will adjourn and reconvene next Wednesday, May 18th at 10 a.m., also by remote teleconference. Thank you and have a great day.